All right. Good afternoon again. You are all welcome. So before we start, can anybody summarize what we learned last time? Anybody? System drive or hard drive partitioning, right? So how can we describe that? Someone else should answer that question. What is system hard drive partitioning? Is the process of dividing our drives, right? So as cyber security experts or in cyber security, what do you think could lead to partitioning your drive? What exactly do you want to achieve? To secure what? Important data or information, right? Okay, so without wasting our time, let's quickly dive into this section topic, which is system users accounts management. System users account management is actually a common topic. I believe that some of us, one way or the other, we must have been exposed to this particular feature within your Microsoft window. But I don't want to train us based on assumption so that I do not skip the important things you need to know as a cyber security expert. An account is actually one of the measures or proactive measures that need to be put in place for you to secure your system file from unauthorized person. Ordinary user of computer do not really understand what they are doing when creating an account, or do not really understand the importance of setting up a user account on the system. But for us as cyber security experts, it plays a major role in determining who access what. Are you with me? That is the security angle we are looking at it from. So we want to place a kind of restriction. So we want to make sure that before you can log into the system, you have what? Privileges, you have access. So when you set that, when you put that in place, I can assure you that is a way of securing what? That system from the intruders. So let's look at the definition properly. A system user account is a digital identity. A system user account is a digital identity that allows individuals. Digital identity. The keyword there is digital identity that allows individuals to access and interact. That allows individuals to access and interact with a computer system. With a computer system. Note, each account typically has a unique username and password. Underline that section as well. Each account typically has a unique username and what? Password. And is associated with specific permissions and is associated with specific permissions, privileges, and access rights. And access rights is associated with specific permissions, privileges, and access rights. Are we together? So you can see the key features that I highlighted in that definition. So which automatically means that if I set up an account, there is need for me to take a further step to do what? To password it, right? Because you can actually set up an account without what? Assigning what? A password. So let's say, for example, if the computer is playing double role, that is, to an extent, is personalized, and to an extent, is also for the what? The public. So what you are expected to do as an expert who is probably overseeing the security of that system, you need to create what account, then and leave it what? Without assigning what? The password. And then you can call that one what? Maybe general what? Account. Anybody who wants to use that system outside you will use that account because there is no password attached to it. And there is no specific username. It can just be user. So it's different from when an account is specifically named after what? An individual. It means that what? You have personalized it. That person is the person that have rights over that system. That is why the kind of accounts you set up for that person, we are going to find out soon to be the administrator what? Account, because he has 100% what? Rights or control over what? That system. So let's quickly discuss types of system account. Quickly, types of system account. Types of system account. Types of system account. There are 3 standard types of accounts that could be set up by you. There are 3 standard user accounts that could be set up. And then we are going to see how each of them are different from what? Each other. The first one is administrator account. Administrator accounts. The second one is standard users accounts. Standard user accounts. And the third one is guests accounts. So before we look at the steps on how to set up any of these type of accounts, let us quickly take them one after the other. So, and I want you to pay attention to their individual explanations, because there you'll be able to know the differences. What one has, the other one do not what have. Let's start with the administrator account. Administrator account has elevated privileges. Administrator account has elevated what? Privileges and control over the system. That is, that account has what? Higher control. So let me explain it based on cyber security or system security angle. Because the aspect of cyber security we are dealing with right now is what? Windows what? Plus what? Security.
For example, my personal PC. And I know that there are times that individual friends, loved one, children, even your spouse can ask you to lend him or her your computer for what? Let's say for an hour. Probably just to do one or two things on the internet and return it. Now, do you know that if you don't have a dedicated account, an account like an administrator what? Account, and where you probably have set up another what? Account, you will definitely give that person your what? Your system what? Login details. True or false? You will. And at that point, you as the owner, you cannot 100% say that your system is what? Is secure. That person must have compromised it. That person must have probably gotten some details that can be sold to some black hat what? Hackers that can give them what? Silent access to your system without knowing. It's just like you giving your ATM card to someone that you feel you trust very well, and then thinking that the moment you give that ATM card to that person, you can no longer guarantee that what? Card what? Security 100 what? %. So what do I do to avoid this kind of scenario? What I should do as an expert is to have two different what? Accounts as a proactive measure put in place for such friends that want me to what? To let them my what? My computer. So what I will do is that I will give them the computer to use, but I will not give them the login details of what? That account. I can give them the password of the other account, or I leave it what? Open. So I just want us to know, because when you are employed tomorrow as a cyber security expert, these are the counseling you are expected to give to that organization. This is one of the cyber or the security policies formulation you need to what? Implement as soon as you come in if they are not in place. The other time I mentioned something like what? G what? CR, right? Who can remember the full meaning again? Governance what? Compliance what? Regulations. Is simply security formulation what? Policy. The process of you. Do not expect that all the company or the domain where your service will be consulted has security what? Plans in place. There are some that they must have been victimized before somebody advising that I need to get what? A cyber what? Security expert. If you are coming into that kind of organization, I'm asking you, who do you think will formulate the security what? Policies? Who is going to guide them? Who is going to counsel them? It's you. One of the things you tell them is that you establish what? User what? Accounting system. Let them know that everybody in the company should not have access to what? Certain what? Files. There should be a hierarchy. So we should determine who access what and who do not access what? What? And the way you are going to successfully implement it is by bringing a concept like what? User what? Accounts that we are discussing. So let's quickly look at some of the things, the privileges that the administrator account has. Number one, an administrator account user can change the system settings can change the system settings. 2, he or she can install softwares without asking for what? Permission from anybody. Because he's the sole owner of that system. He do not need to consult anyone before he or she can what? Make changes to the computer what? Settings. The same thing to what? Installation of software. And then finally, and management of other users' accounts. So the administrator accounts user can manage other account what? Users. He can delete their account. He has the right. He can delete any account. For example, I like practicalizing all this. For example, this particular system was assigned to a particular employee. After some time, the person is laid off. Now I'm asking you, will that system be bearing that person's name? So as a cybersecurity expert, once someone is what? Laid off, what do? You delete that user account. But at first, if you don't have access to any of the administrator accounts, you will not be able to do that. In fact, what you are supposed to do is not to even delete, because I'm very sure that there will be another replacement, right? You change what? The name from the previous tab to what? To the new one, and also, if possible, change the what? The password, and hand it over to the new staff. These are the work you'll be doing, not just sitting down there. So once there is need for any of this, you are the right person to be called upon. So I have highlighted the privileges an administrator account user what? Has. Let's look at what? The second type of user account, system user account. The second type is called standard user account. Standard what? User account. So how do we define this account? Standard user account has limited, underline, limited privileges. Has limited privileges and access to system resources. And access to system resources. Can anybody give me an example of system resources? Hello? Can anybody give me an example of system resources? Data, the file, right? The applications. These are the things you are protecting. Am I right? That you are protecting. So this particular account operator has what? Limited what? Privilege. Let's compare this and the first one. The first one I said what? Has total control, right? That is, the person can change settings, right? The person can install application. Now, let me also speak from the cybersecurity angle. Do you know that under the 10 commandments of computer, do anybody understand that we have 10 commandments of computer? Oh, okay. We have 10 commandments of computer. Go and research. That's your assignment. The next class, you will defend it, each of you. But let me just highlight one of them. One of them is what? You are not allowed to prognose and to look at. For example, now, if I'm operating this system now, you are not allowed to peep. What I am doing is against the ethics. I ask you, how many of us have been keeping this rule? Let's say you are in the vehicle, somebody is pressing phone. The next thing now, you remove your face from the initial direction and peg your face on the person's phone. That is what? Wrong. It's an offense. Let me also highlight another one. If I give you this, my system to operate, do you know that there are some individuals, once you give them your system to operate, and they see a folder a very descriptive folder that suggests some things that they would love to see. Let's say what? Teenagers, or maybe Prosper CV, or Prosper SATs. Do you know there are some individual, this is not their computer, they will do what? Tend to do what? To open it. Once you open it, you have committed what? An offense. It's called data what? Theft. You are not allowed. It's not your personal PC. So the point I'm making here is that there are some individuals that once you give them your system, they want to delete things, knowing that the system does not belong to them. But if you place them under this type of account, standard what? User account, each time they want to delete anything from that system, there will be a prompt, a dialog box that will come up, asking them to enter what? The administrator what? Password before they can what? Delete. And that will be their last bus stop. So you can see the way you have structured the security of that system by putting all this in place strategically without them knowing. They will not be surprised that how come this person is willing to give us his laptop without even being afraid of. They don't know that you have already what? Structured your system security. Where did I stop? I said what? Has limited what? Privileges and access to system. Resources, comma, suitable for everyday users. These are the people that this one is recommended for. Suitable for what? Everyday what? Everyday users who need to perform tasks without compromising system security. Who need to perform tasks without compromising system security. Am I still communicating? So now, you as the security policy maker or the architecture, what do? If we go to the bank now, the bank, or the banking, let's look at the banking system now. There are some systems within that hall that some individual, those regular people that you meet when you have an issue like customer care center, and those that help you to deposit and check some other information or things that relate to your account, they don't have access to some what system. It is only the administrator that have access, and these individuals, they are not always on the system on a daily basis. So you know how to set it up, or you know the system to set up this kind of what? Account for. That is the point I'm making. So which one do you think the administrator accounts should be set up? What kind of system would that be? Can anybody suggest? What kind of system do you think the administrator accounts should be set up in a company? Let's look at the company now. Personal system, yeah, good, yes.
But in a company setting.
Yeah, in a company setting. The IT team.
Yes, IT team group.
Okay. Which other one again? What about the admin? The admin too, right? The admin. Because there should be some members in the admin, right? Those ones should have access to what? To the administrator what? Accounts. Login details. All right. Now let's look at some of the what are the limitations? Let's look at the limitation. What are the limitations? The limitations are a standard user account cannot uninstall or install program in that system. They cannot modify the system settings. they cannot modify the system settings. They cannot what? Modify the system settings. So let's quickly look at the third one before we look at the practical steps on how to create any of these accounts. The third one is guest account. Just like the way you have a guest room, right? So this one, you deliberately set it up. So let's look at the definition of guest account. A temporary account with restricted access. A temporary account with restricted access, often used for visitors or temporary users. Often used for visitors or temporary users who need limited access to the system resources. Who need limited access to the system what? Resources. Often used for visitors or temporary users who need limited access to system resources. Are we together? Now, let's quickly look at the steps on how to set up the account, right? Step by steps on how to set up Windows/system user accounts. And I want us to be doing it as well as usual, if possible. So let's quickly start with the same process, but I'm going to show you where you are to choose whether administrator account or what? Standard user account. So step number one, make sure you are writing and you are also implementing. Step number one, search for control panel from the task bar search box. Search for control panel from the taskbar search box. Where is the taskbar? Look at this here. The whole of this section is referred to as what? The Windows what? Taskbar. Why is it named what? Taskbar? Because it's a section that displays the program that are currently what? Running. Okay? So you can see their icon what? Represented. But as an advanced user, you can as well what? Ping some of the what? The regular what? Used what? Program icon. So in this case now, it's not only showing running what? Program. But ordinarily, for example, you can see Zoom icon here, which means that what? The task the computer is currently performing, one of them is what? Zoom. One of them is what? PowerPoint. So that's why it is called what? Task what? Bar. Now, from here, there is always a search box, whether you are using Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows what? 10. So from here, just search for control panel. I just want to go this way. Search for control panel. Are you with me? And then click on Niit. So once you click, a dialog box will be prompted. A dialog box will be prompted. Now, this particular domain we are in is a sensitive one. Please, I want to advise you, if you like yourself and you don't want me to get some money from your pockets, or maybe those guys in Computer Village or Kowe. Be careful the way you touch things here. This is like, let me break it down this way. Every computer has what? 3 layers. Every computer has what? 3 what? Layers. But unfortunately, the users of the computer do not know one of the layers. They are only exposed to what? Only 2 what? Layers out of the 3. The first layer is the BIOS. How many of us have heard of BIOS before? What's the full meaning? What's the meaning of BIOS? Basic output system. Basic and output what? System. It's called what? BIOS. Now, it means that what? There is no computer that can function 100% without the input unit and the what? The output what? Units. What are the input units? The keyboard, the mouse. What are the output units? There are many. Starting from what? VDU, right? Printer. Now, you need to understand that all these units, all these peripherals, they are registered. They are registered. The devices that are used to perform their operations are registered in somewhere within your system. And that place is called what? The BIOS. That is what we refer to as what? A storage that stores all your system what? Settings. Am I communicating? So which means that if I plug my mouse to a USB port and it's not communicating, as an engineer, I should go to BIOS to check whether it's even what? Enabled or what? Disabled. So when you bring your system to me as an engineer and you are complaining that none of the USB ports are working, what I'm going to do before I conclude, I will go to BIOS and check the port that is controlling all the what? The USB, and check whether it's what? Enabled or what? Disabled. Because there is a battery that keeps it updated even when your system is down. And that battery is called CMOS battery. So your CMOS battery can go bad and make your system to what? To be rolling back to what? Default what? Setting. And that is the reason why most times you see that what? Each time you reboot your system, the date and time of your computer changes. Once you are experiencing that, just know that what? Your setup is not what? Updated. The CMOS that's supposed to keep it updated is weak. So when you bring your system to me as an engineer or to any of those guys and you complain that each time you restart your system, the date and time changes, we will lose the system. There is a small battery that reached what? But we will remove it and put a new one, and then we will charge you. And then that is it. So I just give you that clue so that you know whenever it's happening like that, sometimes once you set it and you restart and it retains, it means that what? The problem was not the CMOS battery. The problem that was what? Maybe the setting was tampered with before. Maybe somebody reset to default what? Setting without what? Putting the date and time setting in place. So what I'm saying here are the layers. So that particular section, I will only show you as a cybersecurity expert, because when we get to the aspect of setting up a virtual lab for practicing what? Ethical hacking, is a must that I show you how to set, how to visit that what? CMOS. Because by default, sometimes most system virtualization technology must have been turned off. So until you turn it on, you cannot set up what? A virtual what? Lab for practicing what? Ethical hacking. The second layer is your window. Is your window. This particular control panel, I can tell you that there are some, if I do my statistics, I can tell you that what? Let's just say 30 to 40% of most computer users do not even know how to what? The control what? Panel works. Am I correct? They don't know. What they know most is what? This interface desktop. This is the third layer, which is what? The first layer which most people would understand. And what is this layer called? If I don't want to use professional term, how do we describe this layer? Desktop. That is still okay. Yes, since I said we don't want to use professional, but let's polish it a little. Let's make it look more, professional. How do we describe this desktop interface? Do you know that it's even wrong for you to even call it desktop? This computer that I'm using now, is it desktop computer? So why did you call it desktop? Are you using this one? This one, this our own. That is when you are qualified to call it desktop. So why did you call it desktop? Because that is the common. So let's leave desktop, because desktop means that you are personalized to what? To those sets of computer. Yes, that's what we are saying. What we are saying is that what? That word desktop, do you know how to derive it? Because when the computer started, we did not have this laptop like this, right? So let's use another word. Can anybody try? That will not personalize to what? To desktop computer. That will generalize it, whether laptop or desktop. Home screen. Front menu. Okay. Now, this is called what? Window what? GUI. What's the full meaning? Graphical what? User interface. You see that word is, you did not, in any way, you did not personalize to what? To desktop. Because laptop has user interface. Okay. Now, let's go back to the control panel. So I was giving us all this so that you should be careful. Don't turn on what you do not understand. In fact, the professional advice I want to give to us is this. Anytime you want to tamper with any setting, please ensure that you take note of how you met it. So that in case you change it, you can go back and do what? Take it back for the system to normalize. So remember the first step. First step is what? You access your control panel, right? Now, this control panel that we access through search out now, you can as well go to what? Look at this. You can click on the start button and go to what? Settings. You can also what? Access it through that method. So from here, your control panel features can be summarized in different ways. The current summary I have right now is what? Category. The way you view the components, if it's on category, is different from what? If you change to what? Large icon. Let's try it and see. Because in some instances, you can launch in here, and then you are seeing something like this, different from what? What you usually see when it is on what? Category. So these are just what? Different what? Viewing what? Method. So there are times you could be looking for a particular feature. If you are using category to view it, you may not easily what? Find it. Because category will group them. So you have to open up one of the group before you can access what you have there. Are you with me? So what we are looking for now, I can easily find it through what? Category. How do I know? Look at this here. User what? Account. So your next step, select what? User account. Make sure you are writing your step even as you are implementing. Are we together? So from here, look at the sub features that came out. Look at the sub features that came out. So from here, I want us to look up here. Look up here. Now, this now broke it into what? Sub item. We now have user account. Under it, we have change account what? Type. This one, we are coming to this after we have created one, where you cannot change from what? Administrator to what? Standard or what? Good. So this is where you are going to what? Visit. Now, this is where you can remove. Talk about what? In case there is need. Okay, because one of the implications of having too many accounts is it slows down what? Your system. It increases your system booting what? Time. I mean, what is called system booting. How do we define it? These are the things you need to know as cybersecurity experts. What is system booting? The process of the system coming up, right? Coming up. What do you think the system is doing at that time? It's processing. Can someone else try? See, all these things, you know, I mentioned something the other time that there is prerequisites. This program is an advanced program. It's not a program that somebody who have not even mastered Windows. Most of these things, if you have been trained on Windows during your computer appreciation training very well, some of these things, you are not supposed to be wasting time talking about them. So that is why if you check what I'm doing, at some point, I will deviate. I'm trying to balance it. I'm trying to teach you while I am explaining what you need to know now. I'm trying to also, you know, accommodate some of those in case I have the person here, then the person will not actually know this. So booting means the system initialization. Are you with me? System what? Initialization, which means preparing the process where the computer prepare itself for usage. How many types of booting do we have? How many types of system booting do we have? 2. Thank God. Can you mention them? Cold booting and what? Warm booting. Now, technical wise, can you translate cold booting and warm booting? Technically, you must have heard people using the word what? Restart your computer, right? What do you think that they are saying? When they say restart your computer, what are they telling you? You should warm boot. Because warm boot means what? The computer has been started before. You are starting. But the first time you press the power button on the very first time, that's what? Co-boot. Like tomorrow morning now, the first time I'm going to hit the power button. The power button is what? Co-boot. Somebody can come and ask, please, can you co-boot all the system? Can you one-boot all the system? These are terms we need to know. So what we are looking for is a command that says what? Create what? An account, right? But is it here? Out of all these options that are displayed, do we have anyone that says create user account? Let's check. Do we have it? No. Now, click on your next step, click on user account again in order to list the available accounts. So the moment you click on that user account, the first analysis you have is what? How many accounts do you have in the system? How many accounts do we have here? 1, right? Egwero. And what type of an account it is? Please, somebody should check. Administrator, right? Now, let's assume, listen, this is where I'm going because I'm going to change the topic now. Let's assume that Egwero Prosper initially was a mere staff, but now he has been promoted to what? You know, to admin. Are you with me? What do you think he should do? Let's say initially this account is running what? Standard what? User account. Now is an admin. You are going to follow this same step. When you get here, you will now click on what? What will you click? You click on what? Change what? Your account type. So the moment you click on it, what is it asking? Security what? Window alert. Yes. What did you see? You can see what? The 2 of them. So right now, if it was standard, I can change to what? Admin. Then if it was admin, I can change to what? Standard. So that is how to do that. But what we are looking for is to create an account. So which means that what? I will click on, let's open up this account. Let's click on manage account. Good. Manage account so that we can access. In fact, we are not having just what? One account. Probably we follow what? Wrongly. Because under manage account, so I'm able to know that what? There are 4 what? Accounts. So from here, I can easily access, add a user what? Account. So this is where I cannot create a new one, which is the step we are following. So your next step, click on what? Add account. And then it will ask you the type of account. Remember that we have what? Microsoft account. This one requires what? Your email. This one requires your email. Am I communicating? This one requires your email. All right. So if you don't have email, you cannot proceed with what? Microsoft accounts. But where you don't have email, look at the option if you want to create what? A local account. But let me just quickly say something. Listen, because as far the reason why we are learning this, which is what? Security. You should encourage the company to use their what? Email to set up what? Microsoft account. It's more secured. And one of the advantages is that what? You can access it outside what? This what? Particular system. If I come to your system now, I can just use the same what? Email to access my OneDrive. So if I don't have it, I'll go with what? The one that even Microsoft says what? Is not recommended, which is what? Sign in without a Microsoft what? Account. So click on that option. And the moment you tap it, you can see some of the what? The highlights. Microsoft account, what you can do, and then local account, what you can also do. So signing in with a local account means you have to create a username and what? Account for each PC you use. You will need a Microsoft account to download what? Apps. You know, this is what? Microsoft what? Play Store, right? If you install this account, it means that before you can download, you will need what? That is what it's telling you. Your setting will not what? Sync across PC, like the first explanation. So now I will specify what? I need what? Local account. But if you want to go with what? This, please you click here. Remember that it will ask you for what? Email and email or phone number, one of them. Then you click on local. I hope you are writing your step. So select local account and then fill this form. So let's say I'm creating for Mr. P. Mr. P, and then the password. So please, when you are assigning the password, make sure that what? You advise them to use special what? Character if you are working in an organization. Use very strong password by adding what? @ because these are the passwords that cannot be easily hacked. Yes? Where? You need what? Whether you need internet? No. It's local now. It's local. Is that what you are saying also? What do you have? Family. Click on the user account again now. That was what you click on.
Click on the other account and see have someone else. is the first one your family is signing the benefits of account. That's what the state number.
Are you there now? Are we on the same page now? All right. Now, your password, let's say what? 1, 2, 3. Then you can view it. Repeat the same password, 1, 2, 3. Now, your password hints is very important. Your password hint is that word that each time you are finding it difficult to remember your password, was remember that word. You can what? Remember the password. It should not be related to what? To the name or the words you use in putting your password together. For example, now, if my password contains prosper, this password hint should not contain any of such word. Are you with me? So let's just say, in this case, I will just put, then click on what? Next. Now the account is created. Just select what? Finish. So the next time you come here, you see that what the account you just created is now shortlisted. So let me wait for us to get here before I proceed. So that is how to set up what? A user account as one of the system security measures. Now, let's quickly look at how to switch topic, how to switch user account. It's not just by creating. In a situation like this, where you have multiple accounts set up in a system, how do you switch from one? Let's assume you are the person that want to mount the system. And then the system has already been on and the previous person have logged in. How do you switch from that person's account so that you can log in with your official account?
Yes, I was not giving a role for this user account.
Huh?
It's not giving a role for this user account.
Role as a
to be under administrator or guest or standard. Well, you see, because you already have.
No. Yes. We have by standards you created it now. It's what okay. Don't worry, when I get there, I will come back to it. So if you go back to where you have that change, what is it called? Change account type. I thought I've already mentioned it before.
Yes.
So if you go back there now, you find out the current one, this one is running. Whether if it is standard, then you can now switch to administrator. So you can do that because I've already exited. So, but I'll come back to it later. Now, let's quickly look at that topic. How to do what? Switch user account. So, for example, currently I am in Egwero account. I want to switch to that very one that we created. Please, I want to explain something here. All user accounts can access installed applications. Let's get that right. All the softwares that I have installed now, the account we just created can actually use them. What they cannot access is what I store on my GUI, which we can describe as the desktop interface now. Whatever I store here, no other account user can see it. So the scope is this. As an expert that will be working with all the system, even though you are the one that set up the account, does not mean that you have access to all the accounts, right? You must have set up and hand over the password and the login details to them. Now, when you want to perform some cleaning, some service routine on all the system, you are not expected to store that file that you need, that software that you need, where you cannot access it. So what you do is that any file that you want to access from all the accounts should be stored in the local drive. Are you with me? Because all the users can access local drive. So such file can be referred to as distributed file. Now, it's just an advice so that you don't go and lock yourself up. Now, I want to switch from this account. Click on your step. Click on the start button. How do I switch from one user account to another? Click on the Start button. Click on the Start button. Click on what? The Start button. Now, once you click on the Start button, the system prompts up what? This. You will see user icon. In your own case, if you have not personalized with your picture, it's part of what you are also expected to know. Because if you are working for a company, you are expected to what? Each person's account should carry their what? Their identity using their picture. So if your own does not have this, there is a user logo you will see there, right? Just tap it. You will see the list of what? All the accounts. Can you see it? So in my own case now, these are the accounts. So which one do I want to switch to? The one I just what? Created now, which is what? Mr. What? P. Now just click on it. You see what? The computer will start preparing a different what? User interface. So perfect. Now you can see that what? It's not asking me for the password. So whenever any individual wants to log in, the person will prompt that what? User account and then navigate to his or her own and then enter the password. What was the password the other time? 1, 2, 3. And that automatically what? Takes me back to account and then enter my password. So you can see that the Zoom app did not what? Go off, which means that what? Everybody have access to what? Equal right to what? To the installed applications. That if not, it will have switched off what? The Zoom as I switch to the other account. All right. So now, just to answer the question he asked the other time, that how do we assign role to the account we just created? Right. So let me quickly go through the steps that we have already highlighted. Go to setting, and then from setting, search out what? Control panel. I hope you are taking note of your step now if you want to write the steps separately. So from here, I will just go to control. So from here, I will just select what? Account. So in fact, let me just go through control panel so that it should be faster for us. Let's give me some time to come up. All right, so from here, look up, then you go to what? The account again, just like what we did before. And then click on what? Change account what? Type. So definitely it's going to display all the accounts so that you can specify. So which one do you want to change it type? In fact, you can see that what? It created it as what? Standard user. That is why you cannot see what? Administrator. So let's click on it now so that we can change what? The type. Change the account name, change the account type, and then you now switch to what? Administrator, and then hit what? Change account type. So if it is on the other one, the same way. So how do you add user account profile picture? That's the next step. How to add user account profile picture. How to add user account profile picture. Because that is what will make it what? More personalized. So step number one, to achieve this, click on the start button and select settings. Make sure that you are also doing that. Click on the start button and select settings. And select what? Settings. So from here, you can see accounts. So you select what? Accounts. Select account, then you will see your profile picture or photo. So click on it. You can take it with your webcam direct. If your system have what? Web camera. If it doesn't, you have the picture probably stored in your laptop. You can reach out to the picture via what? Choose a file. If you have it, you can just take this. So let me check this. Let me see if I can change this. So open my camera, but it's going to, I believe, because I'm using this for Zoom. it might not, let's see if it's still going to open. Doubt it. See? So I cannot use it because another app is using it. But you're okay, I believe it must have opened, right? You have a webcam, it must have opened. All right. So any question? Any question? So if we don't have any question, I also believe you know how to delete. We saw the option there the other time, right? So this is all about how to manage, how to create and manage what? Users account, which is one of the system or Windows security measure or feature